So here we are, once again, meeting under these weird circumstances, COVID. Um, the two of you were recently asked to head up our law clerk recruitment process. You just completed how many interviews?
I think it ended up being 31 total.
Yeah.
So very, very interesting. I don't think that the firm has ever interviewed that many people at one time.
Yeah, it was a lot. It was really fun though. I really enjoyed our time.
So, what was interesting is the abundance of applications as well. So both of you went back to your alma mater, SC, put the word out. And how many applications did we get?
30.
No, we got more than 30.
Oh,
we only interviewed 30. I think we got 59.
Yeah, we got 59. We were told to pick our top 11, and then
But you couldn't do it.
We couldn't do it.
You just forced yourself because you were hell bent on excellence. So you wanted to look at all the good ones. So how many people are in a class at SC?
We're a lot smaller, I think, than most law schools. So
I think in our class we had 300,
but we were the biggest.
But they accidentally let too many people in and too many people accepted for our year. So the normal classes are a little smaller than that, but about 300.
Oh, is that starting or is that finishing or both?
Both. I think.
Approximately both, yes.
It has a really good retention rate, so not a lot of people leave.
Coming from Southwestern, which used to be called University School of Law, now it's called something else, but we started with 300. And when we ended, it had 180.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It was that whole expression, look to your left and look to your right, because somebody's going to be gone here. And that was true. I mean, it was after the first year, it was so sad to see people dropping out, and stuff because they couldn't cut the grades. But SC is not like that because they got these stellar people there, and you start strong, you end strong. So, but, the reason I bring that up, I thought it was pretty interesting, and it's quite a compliment that we had that many applications, due to you two, of course, but that those many people would be interested in a family law firm.
Definitely. And I think people are really excited about, getting that practical experience. We were interviewing, I think we did 20 or 21 1Ls who basically have never been, in law school because it's all virtual right now.
Yeah.
And
oh my gosh, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. And even the 2Ls, they started virtual law school last spring semester. So, they're so excited to potentially be in an office, be around people. They're really happy.
I can't even imagine that, because part of the experience, it's not like undergrad. I mean, we know that it's a tough competition and everything, but part of that experience is the excitement of being there with all those smart people and your future and listening and on campus stuff. I can't imagine going through. So some of those people might do 3/4, if not. I hope it's not the full law school experience, but virtual like that. Oh my God.
Our class was super collegial, so Brooke and I were in the same super section, and then that super section was broken up into miniature smaller sections. And we were all our super section was known notoriously in the school as the kindest people, and we would help each other. And our dean told us not to spread that out because law school apparently is super competitive. But we never felt that. So being in the classroom, I remember once we had an assignment due, and it was the same time as another contract assignment, and everybody just asked the professor together, hey, can we do this? Can we push it? Or somebody would get called and they didn't know the answer, and somebody would boom text them the answer, or hey, can I be co-counsel and answer for them? So we had that unity in our class. So it's sad that they're not getting
That's
that.
wonderful. Yeah.
Well, Dawn, I have something that's going to blow you away.
Okay.
The 3Ls graduating this year they will have learned half of law school virtually.
Oh, I don't think that I would have, I don't know if I'd be able to pay attention.
I don't
that.
think
I wouldn't.
No, definitely not.
Yeah. I mean, the one thing about law school, I don't know if it was true of SC, but most of our classes, there was one exam at the end of the semester.
Mm-hmm.
That was it. It wasn't like, high school or college. High school's got a lot of pop quizzes, right? Then you get to college and they have, these, these exams.
Like a midterm.
Midterm or something like that. Law school, you go through all this long period of time studying an entire book, and they're like, okay, now we're going to question you about everything, and so staying at home. Now it could be those people that thrive on that, they have more time to study, I guess,
It would not work for me.
No, I wouldn't do it.
I would procrastinate. It would just.
It's just hard to pay attention virtually because you have to, I feel like, be like turned on all the time because you're looking at the screen, and I think that's really exhausting to look at a screen all day and then that ends, and then you're looking at your screen again to do your outline, and you're looking at a book. It's like my eyesight dropped significantly after the first semester.
Mine did too.
I can't imagine what they're doing right
well,
now.
you know what's funny about that, or consistent with that, is we now take all of our MCLE seminars on there, and you know, I might be riding my cycle when I'm listening, you know, or I might be like answering emails and stuff, and it doesn't have my full attention.
No.
Definitely not.
Yeah, it's harder.
The other thing in law school that I really enjoyed was they would have on-campus speakers come in during the lunch hour, and I love that. I loved it. Actually, one time we had two professors, actually a couple of times, combating each other in this vicious debate where they got real personal with each other and stuff. And I thought, oh my God, you know, you're not going to get that watching that.
I know we were telling the 1Ls, you know, don't worry. And when you go back to school, remember you can eat for free lunch every day if you try hard enough. So make sure you're doing that because we would get the speakers and then they'd always provide lunch.
Okay, I forgot about that. Yeah, all the goodies that came in. Of course, you're paying for it on the other end with the tuition.
Definitely.
So we're going to talk about celebrity divorce. This is like our 4th edition. And I thought the two of you make such a wonderful team. Let's get it on. Who are we talking about today? Who's going first?
We actually kind of tag teamed this. So we're going to be talking about Kim and Kanye. And unsurprisingly, there are many things to discuss in the realm of the divorce. So I think
wait, before we begin, I heard a comment. Actually, I read a comment on social media that it was a highbrow comment. You know, we shouldn't be talking about celebrity divorces because we're just making fun of people's personal lives. You know? So should we be ashamed of what we're doing here?
I don't think so.
They're like normal people going through what many people go through in a divorce.
Okay.
Like,
and we had some legal analysis to it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll try to do a little bit of that. Okay. Go ahead, Brooke.
Yeah, it's a good way to show other people what, you know, it's like going through a divorce. We get a lot of it from the tabloids. We hear a lot about it.
And actually with Kim and Kanye, like the things that they're going through is so relatable to, I think, everybody. And the way that we're seeing their divorce play out, I think is super interesting and kind of can be a cautionary tale to anyone in their situation.
Yeah.
Okay, so take it from here.
Okay, so the first thing, I guess some background. There have been rumblings about their divorce for a few months, and I think you're going to talk about that. But Kim has officially filed for divorce. I think in one of our celebrity podcasts we did discuss those rumors, but it is official now, and they are moving forward with that divorce. So
where was it filed? It had to have been Central Court.
It must have been Central, but you know it's interesting because. Well, no, I'm going to give things away. So, Monty, why don't you start with your...
So one of the things that's really interesting about their divorce is other than her petition for divorce, nothing else has been filed. But we've been seeing this case play out on social media since July. And there's a very good reason for that. And it's a very smart reason for that. I mean, she has like an incredible attorney. There's no doubt about that. But she's been talking about this divorce since July. The tabloids have been coming out about it since July. And the reason for that is now it's known that Kanye is in another litigation. So he's also being sued
date of separation.
Yes. So trigger, date of separation. One of the things that's actually very interesting is how the paparazzi has been handling this. And again, you know, the Kardashian-Jenner family is just notoriously known for being really smart with their social media presence and their paparazzi presence. I think people can remember that infamous picture now of Kim like sobbing in the car when she flew to Wyoming. So, you know, this whole thing started with Kanye just tweeting things, you know, nonstop. And then, you know, her press said she was going to fly out to Wyoming to like calm him down and get him back. Well, what happened was there's a picture of them in his car, her face, it's a close-up of her face. She's sobbing. I mean, it's crystal clear. Now, if you're Kim and Kanye, you know you're being followed like 24/7. Like her house just almost got broken into. If you want to have a private conversation with your spouse to reconcile, you're not dumb enough to do it outside with the car, you know, not tinted.
Come on, these are people, man. They act like people.
Do they though? Because now she can say, "Look, I'm crying there. That was our breakup. Date of separation is July." It's listed as to be determined on the petition. So, she has all of these tabloids coming out like they're
Wait. Let me explore that with you.
Am I being
If she
facetious?
and her genius attorney decided that they wanted to earmark what the date of separation is, and we could talk about the importance of that, wouldn't it just be easy to write a little email and say, it's over with, we're done, no more? What's wrong with that?
Well, apparently, according to her rep, they have not had contact for a very long time prior to that.
Okay.
But I think that, the interesting thing about this case is, again, nothing has been filed, no request for orders, no anything, but we're seeing it all on social media. And my theory is, and this is just a theory, I don't know if it's true.
Okay, wait. Speculation time. Go ahead.
Yeah. My theory is that, she's starting off saying, and Brooke's going to talk about this, so I won't give too much away, is, hey, 50-50 custody. We love our kids. We're going to mutually co-parent, which is, I think everybody comes into the divorce wanting to mutually co-parent. Well, now the media is like, look at Kim. That's so great. She wants to co-parent. Nothing has been filed. They haven't signed anything. In a couple of months, when she wants to get full custody back, which I'm suspecting she's going to want to do because they're going to fight over that house, which Brooke will talk about again. She's like, well,
you mean
look.
the mausoleum?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, she's going to literally, it's kind of like the Mandela effect of wait, but she already gave him some, and look, he messed it up. And, it's like the court of public opinion is now in this divorce. The judge knows about this. There's no way that they're going to get a super non-biased judge in there it's everywhere. So I really think it's interesting that nothing's been done, but we all know what's going on. I think there's something deeper than that.
Well, who's got the kids right now?
She has the kids.
Okay, but she hasn't filed a motion asking
No.
for custody.
Apparently, they're very amicable about the children. They have 4 children together. But, she has listed concerns to the media for months now about Kanye's mental health and how he's not doing well and it's complicated and we should all support him. But now she's going through a divorce. So the narrative can be, let's support him, but he shouldn't have my kids. There's no way I'm going to give my kids to him. And, I think that's very interesting.
Okay,
I'm being a little
you sound like her
facetious.
attorney a little bit. I'm not going to give my kids to him.
Yeah.
So first of all, they're his kids too. Okay, and public policy says that what?
It's
Brooke,
our kids.
Yeah, and it says that children should have frequent and continuous contact with both parents. It's a policy of the state, that children need both parents. So, giving him his kids, or her kids or whatever, but we possibly have a situation where there's some mental illness and that really invokes some things, I have had some cases where people weren't completely, screwed tight. They were just a little bit off, but still got either primary custody or not because it was best for the kids.
Yeah.
So, what kind of a father is he? Do we know?
That's what's interesting. And this is another thing is that since filing for divorce, Kim's social media has completely changed 180. She makes 1.27 million per post. So whatever she posts.
Wait, whoa. How does that? Because that advertisement?
Yeah. So if she's advertising, apart from her brand that she's advertising, if she's advertising for anybody else or she's wearing, designer and she's like, I'm just playing around in my closet and here's my designer outfit, she's getting paid for that.
$1.7 million. Click.
Yeah.
I'd be posting, 8 times a day, man.
She is.
Oh my God.
So we're used to her seeing her on social media as this, she's like this iconic woman for her selfies. She's posting all of these pictures of herself,
I was wondering why she was doing that.
Yeah, some a little, more open than others,
Right.
showing off her body, which is great. But now she's like, look at this picture of my kid who did this painting. Look at me with my other kid. Look at me with my other. It's like every third post is like her and her kids. And I'm like, okay, I'm not dumb. Like, you're setting this up. So, what I see in my cases is sometimes people post on social media and that's used against them in court because, I've had it where like, I hate my ex-wife. It's like, oops, screenshot to opposing counsel. Like, hey, this needs to stop. And people don't really think about that. and how social media can play in presence with their divorce. Now she's doing the opposite of that, of like, look at me being a mother, because I don't think when we think of Kim, our first thought isn't like she's a mom of 4 kids, at least not me. Like I grew up, you know, seeing Kim from like the early days of Paris Hilton, and, you know, then the show happened. So for me, it's kind of like, I don't think of her as
She's
a mom.
got 4 children.
She's got 4 kids.
And still able to make $1.7 million by posting.
Yes.
That's the best stay-at-home work job I've ever heard of.
Oh, she
It's like,
is an
come on,
excellent businesswoman.
Wow.
She just sold 20% of her cosmetic company, and her net worth is about $900 million. So she's really smart with her business, and she knows what she's doing. And of course, you know, her attorneys know what she's doing too with these kids and posting them. And you know, I don't think anybody ever doubted that she was a bad mom, because her kids have been on the show, and there's rumors that they're very well behaved, and, you know, the nannies have said whatever. But I think that's kind of interesting.
Now, her mother was a really good mom, right? I mean, she was kind of the matriarch of the family, so she had a good role model.
Yeah.
I'll disclose, I've never seen anything. No, because I don't buy into spending an hour of my life watching somebody else be crazy on TV. You know,
that's my favorite thing to do.
Yeah.
Watching the Real Housewives.
Although I did watch all the episodes of Vikings recently, you know, but be that as it may, you know, watching other people's lives like that, I mean, it's not for me. But I understand from talking to Maria, my wife, who watches all that stuff, that the matriarch was a really good mom and good business lady. So Kim was
she's really smart.
A lot like her mom, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, Kris Jenner, you know, really revitalized Caitlyn Jenner's career. You know, when they got married, Caitlyn, formerly at the time known as Bruce, was known for winning a gold medal, but that's kind of it. And Kris really revitalized her career, getting her speaking, motivational speaking, getting her I think also like workout tapes and stuff. And then she started with her kids, and it just, you know, took off.
Yeah.
And they are a very close family. You do see that in the show. Sometimes I watch and I'm jealous because there's so many siblings. Now they have so many children.
They're like,
there's
6.
2.
I can't do it.
I think there's 6.
There's 4 from Robert Kardashian, and then there's 2 from
Caitlyn
Jenner. So that's 6.
And then Caitlyn Jenner also has, I think, 4 other children.
Yeah.
So, you know, this is a big family. And they do seem pretty close. So
cool.
Yeah.
Well, it's all about Kim. What about poor Kanye?
I agree. I mean, this is a difficult situation. I think we talked about this whenever we talked about them last on the podcast, but it's difficult. You know, when someone's dealing with mental illness, you know, their family members can only do so much. So I definitely feel for Kim, but I also feel for Kanye.
Okay, disclosure, we don't know. We haven't diagnosed Kanye.
He has shared publicly that he has bipolar disorder.
So has Kim.
And Kim has also, yes. So this is one of the few cases where it's
public record.
Yes.
But it is very sad because their youngest kid, I think he's only a few months, he might be a year now, right?
I think he's a year.
Yeah. And so it's really sad, you know, because he does love his kids. I think he does really love his kids.
Sure,
and
he
wants
does.
to be with his kids. And it's
Dude,
just,
now, I don't know if we touched on this before, but was there a premarital agreement in this
Yes.
family? Oh,
one of the things
poor
that
Kanye.
Brooke and I were talking about was her, from what I remember when they were first getting married, her prenup was like super solid, like super, you know, kind of, you can't mess around with it. But one of the things Brooke and I were discussing was usually in prenups, there's that language that if you make money off of your own likeness, that's your separate property. So you get to keep that money that you're making. And these people make money literally by being themselves and being alive. So,
well,
you know,
Kim exclusively makes money off of that, off of her likeness, whereas Kanye, I mean, he is putting out music,
right.
But so it is interesting.
But one of the things that Brooke brought up is that, you know, if she's promoting Kanye and she has promoted his clothing line extensively, how is that going to play? And if there's a provision in their prenup that accounts for that, because, you know, she can just post, here's a new Yeezy shoe, and it doesn't matter if it's a good shoe or not, it's going to be sold out. Like, that's just common sense. Like, everyone's going to want it. So, you know, how are we going to split that up? Are they going to come to an agreement on things like that? I mean, I haven't seen their prenup, but it's
So the case is really going to start off with a custody issue possibly, and a whether or not the premarital agreement's enforceable. They may not fight that one because you're saying that it's so rock solid. So assuming that it's enforceable, then what do we do about things like intellectual property that you're talking about, likeness and things of that nature?
Well,
Very interesting.
As Monty was saying, it from what we're hearing in the media, it seems to be somewhat amicable. And it looks like they're going to proceed by basically just filing a judgment that they have been working on already. So it doesn't seem like there is going to be a lot of fighting. Of course, I think that's what everyone wants when they're starting. So we'll see how it ends up. But an interesting thing, I think, is their home. Because technically, from what I've read, of course, apparently she owns the land, but he owns the house. Which I didn't
Excuse me?
I didn't know that was a real thing people were doing. But,
I'll bet you what happened is she used her money to buy the land, and then he used his money to build the house.
So that's what you would think, but the house was already built.
Oh, it was. Okay.
So I don't know. They bought the house for $40 million and then spent apparently $20 million changing it. And so I have some visual aids for us. And I think this is also a little sad because clearly if they're both okay living in this house, they're very compatible, because I don't know anyone who would want to live in a house like
did you see
this.
that interview where he asked her if she's ever swim in the pool? And then she was like, I've never swum in our pool, but we don't have a jacuzzi. And he goes, oh, can you believe it? We don't have a jacuzzi.
Yeah, but so this is the house they built. And so you can see how
I
it
can get
looked.
a jacuzzi over at Home Depot probably for about $500.
So you can see what the house looked like when they built it. And then you can see how it looks now. I mean, they redid the pool, reoriented it, changed, almost everything on the outside.
So do the arrows point to the improvements?
Yes, those are the biggest changes.
Okay.
Apparently, from BuzzFeed, I think.
Well, I'll say this. Okay, they've got some taste, because I think that the gray and white looks a lot better than the other thing.
Well,
They've
here's
improved-
another.
Okay.
This
Before
is
and
not what we
after.
do to our clients when they remodel their homes, by the way. We don't scrutinize their
Okay.
aesthetic
Now the
choices.
before in the interior was way better than the after. The after is they've just taken the chandeliers down. They made it look like a mausoleum.
Yep. It's all
Or some
white.
kind of like a Roman underground cavern. Where they store wine or something. Although they look fantastic. I'll say that. I love their clothing. Okay.
Yeah, so they've changed this house a lot. I mean, $20 million.
She has
into a
that
house.
incredible sink that doesn't look like a sink.
I have a picture
Is
here.
that the sink?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, that's a
I'm going to
great
tell you
sink.
why they did this.
Why?
They didn't do this because they like it. They did this because it plays better on the camera. I mean, it's white. It looks like it's some kind of a storyland. And so we could do our reality show there. Look at that.
I just think it's very interesting, this house. And, when we were hearing that they were going to be getting divorced before they actually filed, we were hearing that the biggest issue was going to be this house, because they both are incredibly in love with it. It's, a huge asset now. And even though Kim, it looks like, is going to be having the house, Kanye is kind of the architect behind it. So I guess there's a lot of sentimental value in it for him as well. So apparently they have figured that out, and she will take the house, and then he will be splitting his time in Wyoming and LA.
So she's taking the house?
She's going to get the house, yes.
Okay.
And it's, again, that idea of what's in the best interest of the children. Kim has ties to this community. She's grown up here, and she's going to be living in LA, whereas Kanye is going to be splitting his time between LA and Wyoming.
Is that where he's from?
No.
He just likes it.
He's from, I think, okay.
He's from Chicago.
He's from Chicago.
Oh.
Yeah.
I
You
like
might
him
know
even more.
him.
Yeah, he's from Chicago, but a couple of years ago, I think Kim and him decided that they would either they bought it or he bought it. He bought a house in Wyoming to get away, and he kind of changed his whole life and went on this like spiritual journey and decided to write gospel music. And
He decided to become a red state enthusiast, man. He goes to Wyoming. He's probably got that red hat on, and he's
Yeah.
out there fishing.
and he's, in his ranch, and I think
Okay.
that's what he wanted differently, and, probably Kim wasn't all that pleased about being in a ranch. But this is where the kids are kind of based, and her family is also in the community
Okay,
here.
so this is pure speculation. Okay, the reason why she's keeping the house is because that's the only asset that the two of them have, and it's worth $40 million. $60 million. So he's walking away with $30 million, and he could go to Idaho or where the heck he's at,
Wyoming.
Wyoming, and he could buy a place that looks just like that for probably like $8 million, you know, and he could be the big fish in the small pond over there.
Yeah.
I think that could be it.
Yeah, I don't know if there's going to be issues of support. I don't think that it would be dumb, I think, in this case to argue like spousal support. I think
For
it would be a
either, yeah.
wash.
Well, you
for
would think
either
that's
of
in the
them.
premarital agreement, would you not?
Probably. Yeah.
But assuming that it is there, this guy's he never has to do anything for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
Neither of them do.
Well,
I mean,
neither. He's worth 1.3 like billion dollars.
Wait, he is?
Yeah, he's worth a lot of money.
He's more. Is he wealthier than her?
Yeah,
apparently.
he's worth 1.3
Oh.
bill. He has a deal with Adidas, which is huge. He started off as a music producer, and then he convinced Jay-Z to give him like a record deal essentially, and he started off.
This doesn't have any property. This is kind of like the Amazon people, you know.
Yeah.
It's like get $30 billion. Don't go enjoy that,
Yeah.
right? You know.
Well, this is like Kim's third divorce, and this
It
is
is?
his first divorce. Yeah, she got married previously when she was 19, I think, to a music producer
I bet
guy.
you that guy didn't wind up with as much as
Yeah,
he
no.
wishes he had. If he just hung in there a little bit longer.
And then she got married to Chris for like 72 days. That was a fun little gig she did. And then now, she's with Kanye. I was actually rooting for them because I can't picture those two with other people.
Okay,
But
who's husband number 4 going to be?
oh,
well, so
Oh.
we think there's a rebranding happening because I'm not sure if you're aware, Kim is
in law school.
kind of in law school. I mean, she's doing the
Pseudo law school,
apprenticeship
yeah.
program that you can do in California, and she plans on sitting for the bar.
Okay.
Um,
She's smart. She's probably going to pass it.
well, and her dad was an attorney, so
And
I
she also
remember.
has 3 private tutors, which are like high
Yeah.
end.
She's probably got like the top professor from your school, SE, over there.
having Kim in our class would be so fun.
No,
It would be so fun.
I would never attend a lecture.
And she's doing a lot of work for criminal justice reform, so
Yeah.
it does look like she may be pivoting her brand a bit. I'm not sure. This is again speculation time.
Maybe she's going to run for office.
But he's running for president, Brooke. He
I'm
wants
not- you know
somebody
what?
ambitious.
They're going to compete against each other. You're going to see the election 10 years from now, man.
Oh
It's good.
God, crazier things have happened.
Well, The Rock wants to run for president, so does Will Smith. So we'll
Oh my
see
God.
where we
Okay.
go.
Okay. Well, do we have any other celebrities to talk about today? Or was that it?
We wanted to talk mostly about Kim and Kanye,
Okay.
and then one of the interesting things is going along with this date of separation is the idea that maybe there was some pre-divorce planning, which Monty's going to talk a little bit more about.
Yeah.
Because and so maybe that played into why we were getting things kind of released from the media,
Yeah.
these pictures.
So again, I don't know the facts because I'm not her attorney, and even if I knew the facts, I wouldn't, say it on a podcast if I were her attorney. But the media has been talking about this divorce since July, so we've been discussing this for about like 7 months. Kanye is in a lawsuit right now, and with divorce and lawsuits and tort liabilities or contract liabilities, that could potentially come to affect the
You know anything about the lawsuit?
I do. I'm not going to give too much.
Well, I can say because I know it from media, you know it from other reasons,
Yes.
reasons. But it looks like it's a lawsuit about Kanye under or not paying at all people in his employees for the Sunday services he does. But I think it's $30 million.
It's very big.
Is he a Sunday service? Is he a pastor or something? Or
Don, that's a
He
great
has a
question. I
church.
don't.
He has like his own church. Kind
okay,
of.
so I did read
thing.
something like that he had employees that didn't pay $30 million. So you're making a point as to liabilities. Go ahead.
So my point is that when we're dealing with tort liabilities, and this would probably be a contract liability, if not contract, it would be like employment law. But in any case, the community property might be I want to say liable, but the creditors can reach the community property asset to get whatever is theirs. Now, she can say, well, no, that's his debt because all of that happened after our separation. I'm not liable for any of that.
You mean that the tortious act happened after the date of separation?
Well,
Or that, I don't know if that's a tortious act, the breach of employment contract or whatever it is.
well, she can try to protect herself in saying the date of separation is an
Okay,
earlier
I'm going to shoot
date.
you down a little bit here. Okay, I might be wrong here. Okay, number one is that liabilities for fraud, for crimes that are committed, if the community benefited from that, then the community is liable. And when people divorce, regardless of how they divvy
Yeah.
stuff up, the creditors don't have to look at the family law
Yeah.
judgment, right? So the question would be, was the breach of contract or the failure to pay employees, did that happen during the marriage?
Yeah.
Now, it probably did, okay? However, they had a premarital agreement where there might not have been community property.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm saying that the date of separation might not play into that. I don't know.
Some articles are saying, I've started to see, things like the marriage, irrevocably broke down in 2018
Yeah.
when Kanye said something about their daughter publicly. And so, I mean, if it's in 2018, then the act may have happened after the date of separation,
Well, you know what? Maybe there's something there. I mean,
Maybe.
there's a reason for putting that in the public eye, right?
Definitely.
So maybe we don't know everything that we should
Yeah.
regarding the premarital agreement. Maybe it doesn't cover everything,
I mean,
or
these people have a lot of intellectual property. They're dealing with so many businesses on their own end, and there's probably, again, speculation, but other things going on in the background that's really influencing their decisions.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised. I think everything's very calculated. I don't think
I
we
just
can-
figured it out.
It's the house.
She's protecting the mausoleum.
I
Because, right?
I
That's what
can't
she's
stop
protecting.
thinking about trying to do their schedule of assets and dets and how I would just,
Oh my God.
how tiring that
You
would
wouldn't
be.
do it. Your forensic accountant would do it.
You know what? That's a good point.
Call Jennifer Magnus. Like, hey,
Help. Can you help? And so then I guess just before we wrap up, the last thing, and this is more for our lovely viewers, I think this case also illustrates interesting ways that disillusions can be dealt with. And I don't know if everyone is aware of these different ways. So for example, they're moving forward. It looks like they're going to have an agreement. They'll never go to court. They'll never, get orders from the judge. They're going to figure it all out beforehand, which is something we do a lot with our own clients. A lot of settlement negotiations, and there's many ways to do that even. It's mediation with the court if you're asking for custody orders. That's one way those get decided. A binding mediation, which is very uncommon in family law, but is something that does happen.
With a private judge.
Or you can do it with a neutral.
Mhm.
You can do it just the attorneys. I think sometimes when people are thinking about getting divorced, it's very overwhelming, of course, for a lot of reasons. And I think one of them is probably, I'm going to go to court and I don't know how this is going to shake out and I'm not going to have any control over it. And I think these, settlement negotiations are a great way to regain some control and get a settlement agreement that works for both parties.
Do we know who's representing Kanye?
I don't
not
know.
yet. That's not his response has not been filed yet.
Oh, wow.
So
Wow. Because I would think that, this is speculation, but when you have that big of a case, like the McCourt case was before, some of these massive cases where you suddenly the attorney's in the public eye, sometimes the egos could get in the way from the attorneys. The
Mhm.
parties might try to settle the case, but you've got these people, they want to earn their keep, and so they're going to be a little abrupt and stuff like that.
well,
so.
her attorney is like Laura, right?
Laura Wasser.
Laura
yes.
Wasser. I mean, she's like renowned. Like she's like I think one of the go-to people for celebs. And
Well, she was Kim's attorney
Kim's-
before too.
Yeah, I think she's like really close with the family, and I think she kind of is so established that she really has no like personal stake at this.
I think it's hard to,
well, maybe it's not. I don't know. I used to be of the misconception that everything's super litigious all the time, but lately I've been, just negotiating with opposing counsels, even on our cases, on how to make things super amicable.
The real professionals don't have to act that way.
And, yeah. And so we've been, hey, what can we do? How can we solve this? We're on the same page. How can we get this going? And it's never like a crazy, litigious, nasty thing. And I think the clients appreciate that when we do that because, it saves them money. But it's also just, I don't feel gross like going into court with this person and we all kind of agree we're doing whatever we can.
I'm
to
sure
help
that
our
these parties want to
clients.
button this thing up. They don't want to go to war. That's sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. You ladies were outstanding. You taught me so much.
We'll show you some clips of the show.
Okay. Okay, great.
Thanks, Don.
Okay.
Thanks, Doc.